What defines perseverance? How do we understand persistence, tenacity? For Oneida Air Systems, the industry leader in dust collection, perseverance is their way of life. It shapes the standards of their endeavors in the pursuit of helping the woodworker and ensuring a safe environment for them. In the beginning, the company's founding fathers worked on commission in the field of industrial hygiene while disseminating the best practices for keeping the work environment clean. Then, in one unforgettable year, everything would change. While Oneida Air Systems remains a leading company in dust collection to this day, the world before Oneida Air was vastly different in that realm. Woodworkers in small to medium shops merely accepted the fact that their shops and their lungs would always have an excess of wood dust, comparable to a rite of passage within the trade. Advanced dust collection technology was practically unheard of. Generations of woodworkers accepted the haze of fine dust in the air as a way of life. Oneida Air Systems had its humble beginnings in a small garage workshop, fittingly named as their operations began just outside of Oneida Lake in central New York. This was the birthplace of what would be a promise to woodworkers to ensure they could continue their passion without sacrificing their health. A promise made by two men, Robert Witter and his father-in-law, Peter Fedrigon.
Before Oneida, I worked for my father-in-law, who had a small engineering consulting company that did dust collection and heat transfer. What we did was we would travel to different manufacturers in large industry that needed dust collection and had usually an OSHA citation for being out of compliance and government regulation and the dust levels in the work area. Companies must comply and not exceed a certain dust loading in the environment, which any dust producing tool must have some type of extraction or ventilation to prevent accumulation of particulate or fume from overwhelming the work environment.
At his core, Fedrigon himself was a passionate woodworker. As there existed no affordable dust collection solution for smaller shops, now both Witter and Fedrigon could make a change in the very industry they had grown to love. Enter 1993.
Oneida was actually a call from fine woodworking wanting to know about dust collection. Peter would give lectures on dust collection to industries, or in this case it was a woodworking club in Rochester, and they were amateur woodworkers that were just interested in how to do good dust collection in their hobby shops. One of the members of the club wrote an article based on the designs that we provided for them to do dust collection properly, and that was published in Fine Woodworking in 1993. And then we were thinking about it and saying, well, if that's going to happen, we should offer some type of product. So we ran an ad in Fine Woodworking for one of our creations, which was a small cyclone collector with an industrial filter media. And we thought at the time, well, maybe we'll sell 2, 3, 5 of them a month. But what happened was that the phone was ringing in my house non-stop from that article. So it became obvious that there is a huge pent demand for better dust collection in woodworking shops. The orders were piling in. My wife, Rebecca, is a co-founder of the company. She had a master's degree in architecture. She did a lot of our drawings and designs, ultimately marketing and advertising. People were sending us checks. Sight Unseen had no way to process credit cards. Then we moved into the facility we're in now, and the phone calls never stopped coming.
And so the Witters and Fedrigon would continue their vision to help the woodworker in smaller shops as Oneida Air Systems expanded. Yet, challenges continued to emerge for the company, forcing the Witters and Fedrigon to think creatively to overcome those challenges. While Oneida Air handled cyclone production in-house, they outsourced ductwork to local manufacturer Carmen Metal Products. In a time where other manufacturers were offshoring, the Witters and Fedrigon were committed to local production and remain as such today. One fateful morning, when Rebecca went on her routine drive in her Ford Escort to Carmen's, none of the company's orders were made and ready for retrieval. Carmen's had unexpectedly closed, leaving their team outside, unsure of what to do. Carmen's had manufactured ducting and piping for 65 years, and the team would not give up on it. After Rebecca disclosed the news to Robert, the company purchased Carmen's equipment and hired their team to manufacture their ducting in-house. Oneida Air nearly doubled their operations that day. The company's current CEO, Jeffrey Hill, was not far behind the Witters and Fedrigon in the pursuit for dust collection ingenuity. With his undergraduate career about to end, the stage was set for young Hill to join the team.
I started in the fall of '96, came on with Oneida in a part-time capacity. Started out doing computer-aided drawing and some of the estimating and bills of material and product design. At the time, it was a much different company, a lot smaller.
It was a company of 4 people, and Jeff came in. It was really a godsend. He hung around after work one day, and I said, "Jeff, what is this?" He's like, "Well, aren't you going to offer me a job? I've graduated."
You know, really, it was just all hands and wearing a lot of hats, you know, even more than we still do today. And it was pretty neat because you got to see literally everything, you know, from a customer walking in the door, needing help, somebody on the phone, something in the shop. We were very micro-focused on a particular customer, particular products, and, you know, how we had just gotten our feet under us. And it's hard to remember, but I mean, it really was just that sense of scale, you know, really just having to do whatever needed to be done at any moment throughout the company.
Jeff's been instrumental in helping the company during the founding and early years where we kind of clicked in being able to invent and develop products. And he's now progressed to full R&D department with higher degreed engineers that help us develop our next big idea.
These advancements in dust collection technology quickly made an impact on both woodworkers both locally and nationally, with multiple awards over the years as well.
We're in the Oneida booth, and they have a couple of small dust collectors that we thought were interesting and worth taking a look at. We've got this small portable dust collector here, 1.5 horsepower. It's a true cyclone collector. It's got a pleated filter on the back to handle the dust. It's good for less than 1 micron. Should be a great small supplementary or standalone dust collector.
Luckily for Oneida Air Systems, they wouldn't have to wait long for that next big idea. Following the first major round of dust collection systems, a new product would emerge and change the course of history for Oneida Air Systems and the wet-dry vacuum industry forever.
This product is called the Dust Deputy.